Random thoughts. In today's video, we are going to look at the linguistic map of Africa. I've done a few videos where I've talked about different groups of languages that are spoken in Africa. And I thought that having this map in your mind as you watch some of these videos that I've created is going to be very helpful to have the bigger picture of what we are talking about. Africa has about 7 major language groups. I hope you can see them up on the screen. And this map has all these language groups where they are spoken the most. Of course, language is language and you can have it spoken anywhere in the world. But of course, the map gives us, or the map shows us where a particular language group is spoken the most. Now, I need to clarify that this is about language. It's not about genetics. I've realized that in the videos that I've created, many people are focusing so much on the race and the genetics of the people who speak the language. But I've come to understand that that language doesn't necessarily have to go with the genetics of the people who use the language. Language can move and the genetics don't move, or the genetics move and abandon language. So that's a reality that you need to have in mind. Now, the part that is painted blue is an area where languages that fall into the category of Afro-Asiatic are primarily spoken in Africa. Now, Afro-Asiatic group of languages, these are languages that are mostly found to the north of Africa, or they are spoken most to the north of Africa, and they are also spoken a lot in Asia, especially the Middle East, the Levant, and those kinds of places. Now, Afro-Asiatic languages are also languages that we've heard about in history, the Akkadian language, the Aramaic, and most of these languages have become extinct. Now, in Africa, the Afro-Asiatic group has subgroups. Now, the subgroups, I've spoken about a few of them. I don't think I've covered all of the subgroups within the Afro-Asiatic group. Now, the Afro-Asiatic group has these subgroups. The Semitic group, I have done a video about this group, and this group that has languages like Arab, Amharic, Tigray, Tigrinya, and of course outside Africa we have Hebrew and I've said Akkadian and these other languages, the Sabaean language, and all these languages that were spoken mostly in the Middle East. Now in Africa, those are the Semitic languages you'll get, and the Semitic languages, or the Semitic subgroup, is a subgroup within the Afro-Asiatic group. Now another subgroup within the Afro-Asiatic is the Cushitic subgroup. Now the Cushitic subgroup has languages like Oromo and Somali and Afar. These are languages that are mostly spoken in the Horn of Africa. I am not aware of Cushitic languages that are outside Africa, maybe Somali in Yemen, and of course these languages that are spoken by people who've migrated out of the Horn of Africa to other parts of the world. Now, the Afro-Asiatic also has the Berber languages that are spoken in the northern part of Africa. These are languages you'll find of some tribes that exist, or some communities that exist in countries like Libya and Algeria and these countries to the north. Another subgroup that exists within the Afro-Asiatic in Africa is the Omotic languages. Now, Omotic languages, these are languages that are spoken in the Omo Valley in Ethiopia, and somehow linguists have come to identify them as a unique subgroup within the Afro-Asiatic group. We also have the Egyptian language, the ancient Egyptian language. This language, or the Coptic language, these languages fall into the Afro-Asiatic group, and they are a subgroup within that group. There is also the Chadic group or subgroup. Now, the Chadic subgroup has languages like the Hausa in northern Nigeria, or the Ron and the Angas. These are also part of the Afro-Asiatic group of languages. I need to point out that in total there are close to 250 languages that fall into the Afro-Asiatic group in Africa. That's a huge number, but it's not as big as others that we are going to talk about. Now, the next one we are going to look at is the Nilo-Saharan. On the map is painted yellow. Now, the Nilo-Saharan has close to 210 languages, and the Nilo-Saharan has also some subgroups, and I've talked about a few of these subgroups. It has the Nilotic subgroup, which I've talked about, and the Nilotic subgroup of languages are mostly spoken in Eastern and Central Africa, mostly, and of course we can say Sudan, which is considered to be the home of these languages. And we also have the Sudanic languages. Now, the Sudanic languages are mostly spoken in, of course, Sudan. We have the Eastern Sudanic, which brings together the Nubian And also the Nilotic languages are considered to be part of the Eastern Sudanic subcategory. And we also have the Central Sudanic subcategory, which are found in countries like Chad and Central African Republic and even Cameroon. And some of the languages in this subcategory or this category include Naba and Sara and many others. As I've said, there are close to 210 languages that fall into the Nilo-Saharan category of languages. Now, the next one is the Niger-Congo. Now, this is the largest group of languages in Africa. Now, the Niger-Congo is also split into two. There is the Niger-Congo A and there is the Niger-Congo B. The Niger-Congo B is the Bantu group, and I've talked about the Bantu group in another video. On the map, the Niger-Congo is painted, we can say, red. The Niger-Congo, excluding the Bantu, is painted red. And the Niger-Congo A, let's call it the Niger-Congo A, is a language group that has subcategories like the Mandi and others, but the major languages that you'll find in the Niger-Congo A include Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani. Yeah, those are the languages you'll find in that subcategory of the Niger-Congo. Now, of course, the Niger-Congo also has the Bantu, which often is treated as a separate category. Now, the Bantu has close to 350 languages in that category, in that subcategory. The entire Niger-Congo has close to 1,400 languages. It's a huge category of languages in Africa. And of course, as I've said, the Bantu has like 350. On the map, the Bantu is painted orange. Now, the Bantu is, of course, spoken in East and Central Africa and towards the south or southern part of Africa. The next group is the Khoisan. Now, this is not actually a group per se, especially as the others that I've mentioned already. This is more or less, we can say, a few dialects of a major language that is known as the Khoisan. Now, the Khoisan has a unique aspect to it. It is the click sound. The Khoisan languages have the click sound in them. So if you hear a language with a click sound, most likely it's either a Khoisan dialect or language, or is a Bantu language that has had a huge influence from the Khoisan language or the Khoisan group. Now, the Khoisan is mostly in the southern part of Africa. On the map, it's painted green. Now, the next category of languages that are found in Africa is what is known as the Austronesian group. Now, the Austronesian group is not only in Africa, of course, it is in a larger part of Southeast Asia, including countries like the Philippines, Malaysia. Those countries have those languages existing there. Now, we have a few of those languages in Africa, and they are primarily found in Madagascar, the island to the east of Africa. Now, in Madagascar, they have Malagasy and Malay and these Maori languages that are spoken there. They fall into that category of the Austronesian. Now, let me talk about the final group that is a little bit controversial. Some people think it shouldn't be included in the African, the language groups in Africa, and that is the Indo-European. Now, the Indo-European in Africa, of course, the Africans speak a lot of European languages, French in particular, and English and Portuguese. Those, of course, are Indo-European languages, but that's not what I'm actually talking about. I'm talking about a language to the southern part of Africa that is now considered to be African, and that is the Afrikaan. Now, Afrikaan is a Dutch language that has evolved to become unique from the Dutch that is spoken in Europe. Now, Afrikaan is a language with a huge number of speakers in South Africa. And for that reason, it's considered to be an African language. And of course, because it comes from Europe, it is Indo-European. Now, those are the categories of African languages and how they look on the map. And to summarize, when you look at the map that I've shared on the screen, the blue is the Afro-asiatic, the yellow is the Nilo-Saharan, the red is Niger-Congo A, and the orange is Bantu or Niger-Congo B, and then we have the green, the Khoisan, and then we have the Austronesian that is in the Madagascar, and of course, as I've said, we have the Indo-European or Afrikaan in South Africa. Those are my random thoughts.